India is in this, almost entering a manufacturing superhighway where the potentials are endless.
India has manufacturing competence. India has manufacturing skill. The people are very talented. And if all of these skills are aligned, India becomes a full stack player. I've seen, where women entering the workforce enriches the place. So I think that's something which is very important.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices. We're going to talk about something we haven't really touched upon so far, at least not this season, and we have maybe a little bit done it in the early seasons. It's about manufacturing, and India is in this, almost entering a manufacturing superhighway where the potentials are endless, and we need to see where we end up in the end. Sorry, that's sounding a little bit of a cliche, but to talk about it, we have with us Josh Foulger, who is the president of consumer electronics at Zetwerk. So, Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nandu. Thank you for having me over.
So, if I can start by asking you to explain to our listeners, what exactly does Zetwerk do? And I guess you guys call yourself a managed marketplace. Could you explain that concept also?
Sure, Nandu. I think good afternoon, everybody. I think it's a pleasure to be here with Nandu and in this podcast. Manufacturing is something which is very close to my heart for the last 30 plus years. Very happy to say that Zetwerk is actually Zetwerk Manufacturing is the basis of this company, which was formed 6 years ago. And so Zetwerk is basically three main divisions or three verticals. One is the industrials, where there's a huge emphasis on renewables. There is aerospace and defense, and then there is electronics. And all of these things are honed towards solving customer problems, and both in India and export markets for customers. And I should say that the managed marketplace also serves as a great platform, which I think is sort of under all of these manufacturing assets to support and enable SMEs, MSMEs, to find the right buyers. And however, I should say that in the electronics vertical, what the team has been able to do and will do, going forward, is creating manufacturing assets in India, pan-India at this point in time, to enable support customers across the ESDM value chain.
And this concept of a managed marketplace, how do you explain that to the common man?
Maybe I'm not the best expert to explain that, but I think the managed marketplace is kind of like a buyer-seller meeting place, where a lot of small companies may be having the right capability, but may not be geographically connected. And there may be a lot of customers who may be geographically located in India, even though India is a very large country, or it could be internationally. And the key is to connect, these buyer sellers. And now, what we are seeing as Zetwerk is having manufacturing factories around India, for instance, in electronics. We are able to use a lot of these suppliers who are very capable and otherwise would have been a silent voice into our customer value chains. And so I think that is going to be the power of us. I use the word, everybody says raise the roof. I think when you raise the roof, you need to raise the floor along with yourself. And I think that's what's going to strengthen the ecosystem, building the overall competitiveness, but also bringing the whole I'll say supply chain tier one, tier two, tier threes along the journey of being world-class, serving customers who are Indian value chains and global value chains.
In a hypothetical situation, a new Indian startup wants to bring a consumer electronic product to the market. They can come to you, and do you give them an end-to-end production facility, or are there things that which they would have to maybe get from somewhere else?
I think there are various interventions we could explore with them, but I think I can explain to you what we currently do, at least in electronics, is in Bangalore. We have what we call a proto line, a prototype line. Where we can do at least the motherboard builds, and this has been servicing. I think we really don't say customers there, but we just operate them. But we have like 250 different people using them every month. And our dedicated team, which focuses on this, helps these smaller companies, startups, people who need, sort of small runs, with some feedback. We run the product through the line. We're able to do this. So this is, I think, at the base level, something we do. Where they're just we're kind of like a maker lab inside actually a full running factory. Now, we also support them with some design for manufacturing feedback. Is this product manufacturable and whatnot? Now, the advantage for a startup, would be that they come into our maker line, and they run their product through, they get the feedback. Let's say that they are successful in the market. They're able to come to us and saying, hey, Josh, are we able to use your facilities to scale up to this? And then, yes, we said we do. And, we have facilities, like I said, pan-India, depending on the geographical advantage for their particular product, we're able to offer them that solution.
Over the past few years, we've had this buzz about manufacturing coming to India, companies leaving China, looking at India as the next big destination to move to. So how do you look at manufacturing in India and India as a destination for manufacturing? And in the past few years, have you seen things improve? Has the ecosystem sort of come into place? We were always talking about the ecosystem. The ecosystem is not there. You can build things, but you'll still have to bring in a lot of things from China. Are you seeing a change in all of that?
No, I think, first, I have to say that India has manufacturing competence. India has manufacturing skill. The people are very talented. And that's been my experience since I think it was my third year break in engineering. I took an internship in one of the prominent companies in India, rather in Chennai. Kind of process controls I saw, and this was with the risk of dating myself. This year was 1990, and the kind of process controls which were there in place were just incredible. And what got me into robotics to go and specialize in my master's was I saw a plasma coating robot there. And so robotics, automation, heavy process controls was already there in place. And now what I've seen, though, is the last 10 years under the Make in India policy framework, we've had a lot of encouragement, coming from the government, the government of India, and also the different state governments have been very, very encouraging and supportive of this environment. So I see clearly a tremendous progress in the last 10 years in ESDM, especially under this framework, very consistent capability building. And so I'm very happy to report that not just the manufacturing of end products, but also sub-assemblies are in place, and very happy to say that Zetwerk already does them in our factories. Components, of course, are, we work closely with our customers using the customers' approved vendor list, AVL, as we say. and our own qualified supply base. This is the marketplace we tap into to say that we have a customer who has a problem, and we're able to do this. So we are getting there. The export numbers are looking good as well, which tells that we are globally competitive. The current production base in India is about 100 billion for ESDM. The market size is about 140, 150 billion. This is set to grow. I think the manufacturing, we believe that it should grow 5x by the end of the decade. 500 billion would be the number with a dramatic, and I think India is just, I will say that a lot of people don't realize that we've not really tapped out India. We're just warming up. This industry, I say, only employs 2 million people currently. I very easily anticipate about 10 million people being employed by end of the decade. So along with that, I think we will, in a way, as I say, raise the floor and be globally competitive.
Is there any part of this jigsaw puzzle that you think is missing right now and is maybe going to take a couple more years maybe to come into place?
Now, when you look at the full value chain in electronics, and this is sort of a representative value chain for all, I'll say, hardware products, mechanical or even electronic products. I think the full value chain has, sort of a brand at the top who really understands the markets, the consumer segments they are sort of supporting. And then they either have in-house design or outside design. Then comes the tier one manufacturer, tier two, tier three manufacturers, and then comes the equipment players. Now, what India has, at least in electronics hardware, is we have, I'll say, 30, 40 years of experience in design of certain attributes. Semiconductor design is done in India. Software systems are designed in India. Now, today and these are all captive entities, right? Today they call it GCCs, right? Global Competence Centers. And then a lot of American manufacturers are there around India, and there are factories at tier one, tier two levels, right? I think what is missing today is the thread connecting all of them together. So because this is a full spectrum of skills which is needed, and if all of these skills are aligned, India becomes a full stack player, right? From design to tier one, tier two manufacturing, and building machines which are capable of that. Now, that I think is the connecting lines, and I see as India is going on this Vikshit Bharat journey for 2047, I see these things getting connected. The government is very keen; it's driving. The enterprises are responding. Enterprises like us, who come from a very different vantage point. I'd like to tell that Zetwerk is probably a product of the Indian government policies. Be it Startup India, Digital India, Make in India. So we are enabling, connecting all of these individual boxes so that India can become a full service, full stack solution provider for both the Indian value chains and global value chains.
So a couple of years back, when we were in the middle of this COVID and lockdown and all of that, often there was discussion about how the entire supply chain itself was, it was choked. It was not what it used to be. Are we back to normal now? And is it a new normal from what, given your experience, is it a new normal to what you would have seen pre-COVID?
I think definitely, see, globally, supply chains are always dynamic. Now, COVID brought a new dimension to the dynamic, so where we had lockdowns in various parts of the world, and that sort of upset that balance, of this supply chain. And now I think it's post immediately after COVID, you had a big spike in demand in certain categories, which I think drove up things. Um, Now, being in this sort of space for nearly 30 years, and being in robotics before that, uh, technology innovations, technology use cases are normal. And geopolitical tensions were not, but now it's the new normal. And I think it calls just for a new brand of supply chain leadership, which is capable of managing that. So I was talking to some of our colleagues, saying that in the industry, as we try to lead and maneuver and support our customers, we say we always look at SWOT as one of strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, as a mechanism to quickly gauge how are we placed. And this is an exercise most companies do once a year and then forget about it, right? I have been advocating now that we need to do TOS, which is threats, opportunities, weaknesses, and strengths. So we really look at the external environment more, external threats, external opportunities, spend time on them, and do this. And we may have to recalibrate every 3 months to see what are the appropriate interventions needed. So I think if we do that, I think we are going to be able to take opportunities. We're going to take find new creative ways to solve customer problems.
As somebody who has seen this industry for a few decades now, sorry, but are you seeing manufacturing change? And is there something that really excites you on how this change is happening?
No, definitely very exciting. I think it's exciting because now it's global, and especially India was not considered, even though I disagree, as a manufacturing powerhouse. And as you described, we are on a highway there, and it's going to be long and windy. But I think what is exciting in manufacturing is we have a new workforce coming into play. We have in electronics, in my previous companies, we implemented near or 100% women in our workforce. So this is a great place I've seen, where women entering the workforce enriches the place. So I think that's something which is very important, and I think which is something which we've been able to see us and the women succeed in whatever their life goals were. The second, I think, is really the technology. People say Industry 4.0, AI in the workplace. I think I've seen bits and pieces of this already when I was in my master's, having some level of intelligence in your manufacturing process so that you enable better process control, and it's artificial intelligence embedded in your automation. So I think that technology, all these technologies, bring in that is exciting. The third last, there are many more, but just to say that the third thing which I think is exciting for me is our ability to look at design for manufacturing has not been a big thought before. And a lot of people don't realize that design for manufacturing, which includes the best attachment technologies, the best testing methodologies, using certain automation. That let's say it's laser welding, right? How do you design a product so that the laser welding process can happen automatically instead of relying necessarily on pure human intervention? So I think that design for manufacturing is also becoming important, even in countries like India. You just don't throw sort of random things there. So there is a method in which we can build products, build processes, and the product framework and the product structure is designed in this manner. And so I think these are incredible developments. All of that reduces resources, enables new workforce. People say efficiency, but yes, it's efficiency, but really using people for what they're best known is intelligence. And it's all of these things are very, very exciting. Very happy to see that India is the forefront of all of them.
So, Josh, thanks for being on the show. It was very insightful. And again, this is not a topic we've really touched before. So, I have this mission that every time somebody listens to our podcast, they should go back learning something new. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners have now opened up their minds to the potential of manufacturing in India. So, thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure, Nandu, and to the listeners, all the best in your manufacturing journey. Freshers, this is a great space to be in, and I'm one of the many thousands of leaders who have chosen this path, which I think is great and fantastic. All the best.
So, you were listening to Our Own Devices. We'll be back again next week with another guest and a lot more insight. Till then, we are available everywhere you listen to your podcast.